It is never too late or too soon. It is when it is supposed to be. All right, so welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren. If you've never seen my face before, I am your resident intuitive baddie, and I finished the book, and I have to return it today. So I'm gonna do a quick little, I guess, sum up review. Review? I don't know. This fucking book club. It's book club, guys. Give you my thoughts. It's so interesting because the timing of me reading this book right now um, is just so prominent because basically the sentiment of this whole book, if you don't plan to read this book or you've read this book, I'll kind of give you the overview of the storyline. So basically, it follows three characters. One is Dor, who is Father Time, and basically he is the person in the book that invents time. He comes from a time where people don't know of time, but he starts measuring it. So he starts measuring it using, I think, stones or stones and water and stuff like with the sun. He like makes notches and he's like counting the time. He figures out how to count the days, and I think he counts between the moons, stuff like that. So he pays attention, and then at some point, um, I guess he gets banished from his place or like where he lives. So he and his wife go off, and then um, his wife starts to face death. And then as she's kind of dying, he gets mad at the gods, and then he tries to like run up to heaven because the one of his old friends that's like the ruler there created these stairs because he had this thing where he's gonna fight the gods, and then he goes up, and then basically he is taken out of the world, and he's like he lives in solitude, and he is given basically immortality, and he has to hear everybody from that moment forward that mentions time, that asks for more time, asks for time to speed up, whatever. So that's like his like hell basically. And then what happens is basically that he is at the end of his immortality, solitude or whatever, he's sent back to Earth, and he's meant to find two people. One who wants more time, and then who wants like time to speed up. So that's the other two characters. One is this girl in high school who is in love with this boy who's like the popular boy, and she's kind of like a nerd, so but they volunteer at the same place or some shit. Um and he's interested in her, but not really interested in her. He's like interested in her physically because she like dresses up for him and puts on makeup one day. But then because she didn't like they hung out and then they got drunk, but she didn't want to put out. So then after that he started to ignore her, and then um she started to have an anxious attachment. So then she goes and buys this watch, and that's how she meets Father Time. Um but he rejects her. So then she feels upset about that, and then she was about to message him again, but then he like posts on Facebook that like basically like, oh, she tried to make a pass at me and she's a loser. So then she tries to herself. And then the last character is this old guy who is like the 14th richest person, and he's like a workaholic. He has a wife, but he's got cancer. So he is trying to find a way to kind of bypass death, and he looks into this thing, and he's trying to like do this immortality thing. And he doesn't tell his wife about it, so he's setting up all this shit with his lawyers and everything to basically freeze himself. And then the idea that he has in his mind is that he's going to wake up hundreds of years from then when they have a cure for his cancer, and then he's going to continue living. So basically what happens is, at the moment that he's supposed to freeze himself, and then the girl tries to herself, um Father Time, he has this hourglass, so he's able to slow down the time almost to a stop. And then he does a thing where he actually does stop the time, so then they're all outside of time now. And then he kind of shows them each the future. So he shows the girl that, because she has this idea that, oh, if she removes herself from the world, this guy is going to feel sorry, and he's going to learn his lesson. But then instead, like, the Father Time shows her that he still doesn't care, and like it, like, so much so that he's he just talks, he does the same thing with some other girl, brings her to the same place, and they're talking about it, and he's just like, yeah, it's not my fault, type shit. And then um he shows the girl her mom, and her mom's like heartbroken, because obviously she's just like, I guess they had a strenuous relationship, just because, teenage mothers and daughters. And she's a single mom too, so then she obviously feels terrible that she didn't do more to check in on her. And then Father Time shows the guy, basically what happens after he like freezes himself. So he shows how the wife reacts, which she's upset, because she's like, what the fuck. She's like, I don't even get to, like, he doesn't even leave anything for her to bury, right? Because he's just in this ice thing, and like she can stay there and like talk to him like that, but no, she's like so mad, so she like kicks the thing, and then she leaves. And um and then Father Time shows him the future. So in the future, he at first he's like, oh shit, it worked. But then what is revealed is that it's like this dystopian future where all the people there are basically void of emotions. They've taken all the emotions out, and like they're like perfect beings, basically. And what they've done is that all the people that are in those frozen things, they created like basically like museum type things, and then like they hooked up machines and stuff to their brains to show memories of those people's lives, because they have memories with emotion. So they're just watching his memories, times where he was sad, times where he was happy. They're just watching this guy's life, and this guy's just like in a fucking jar, or like or whatever, just like with all this shit hooked up to him. And then he's like, what the fuck, I had stuff in place for this, like I had lawyers. But Father Time reminds him that all the people that he talked to are dead. The people that run the company or whatever are gone. So it's like whoever is in charge of that facility, it's now passed down, so they can do whatever they want. And that's what they did in the future with his body. So after showing them the future, he basically is like, you guys know, so you guys can change it. And then because he does that, now he's allowed to, he gets to go back to his time. And then he realizes that the important thing wasn't that he needed to reverse time, because that's basically why he ran up the stairs or whatever, to talk to the gods, to be like, yo, reverse this shit and like, don't kill my wife. But then instead what he does is he runs back, and then he stays with her as she dies. And basically the lesson for him is to accept that you're not supposed to count, or he wasn't supposed to count time. He was just supposed to be there for her. And his obsession with marking time is what took time away from him, if that makes sense. And then for the what happens to the other two is that they end up being rushed to the hospital at the same time. And then the guy, the rich guy, gets like 3 more months, and he spends that time with his wife, and he makes the most of that time. So then she remembers it as like the best years of their marriage, because they had gotten to a point where they were complacent because he was working all the time. So he learned that rather than try to extend time by being immortal, he realized the importance um of just really taking what time he had left and making the most quality out of it. And then for the girl, so he that guy ends up leaving her, or like paying for her college or something, because she was super smart. So then what ends up happening is, like, years later, because she's living now, she ends up finding the cure for cancer. And then she's like a well-renowned doctor, and then she makes a difference in the world. And so her lesson is that, by her, like, because for her, first she was trying to speed up time because she was trying to rush the guy, or like rush things with the guy, and trying to live out an experience that she had wanted, but that was pretty much a fantasy in her head. But then, by that not panning out, and at first her thinking that that meant that was the end of her life, because it was so embarrassing, right, for her to for that guy to post on the Facebook or whatever. So by her facing that and moving on with her life, rather than to stop it there and to think that that was the worst thing that was going to happen and there wasn't more, she learned that, I guess, like, one moment in time isn't isn't the end, and that there are more moments to have. And so you should appreciate how how much time you have, rather than trying to get to an end goal. So overall, for me, it just really showed me how, pretty much, that if you stop marking time, if you stop looking so hard at time, and you just stop trying to understand what everything means right now, and allow things to just be, and accept that you will understand the lesson when it's supposed to. Which, was that the line that I read? I can't remember. Oh yeah, yeah, that was the line that I read in the beginning of this video. I think that was the biggest takeaway for me, is that there's no too late, there's no too soon, there's only when it's supposed to be. Because, yeah, like, everything in life is pretty much whatever you give meaning to it. The way, it's the law of mentalism, right? All is mind. How you think about things is the energy you attract. It's also the law of correspondence. So if you look at something, if you have an experience and you look at it as bad because it feels bad in that moment, then that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to attract. But if you just take it as, this is a lesson that is meant to help me later, that is also what it'll be. Or then you can give it good energy, and it doesn't have to be bad. You can attribute it to be good, or to not really have meaning. You just realize you don't need to know. And I just think that that's so important. And it's it's such a it's such a lesson for how to cultivate the present. It goes back to, I'm pretty sure I've said this in a video before, about how we can look at the past, but we don't live there. And the same thing with the future. We set aims for the future, so we know where we're going. But when you're trying to live in the future, you're taking away from the present. Whether it's the future or the past, if you're focusing too much on either, you're taking away from what's right now. And at the end of the day, all we have is what's right now. Because somebody said this in a video that I watched really recently too, where, yeah, we can think about what's about to happen, but the point is that is gonna be now when we get there. So to place so much focus on it, when we could focus on other things, and focus on whatever we're experiencing now, and put energy and awareness into what's going on right now, so that we can make the most of it, so we can make every moment that we have more quality, is what everything's really about. And yeah, I think this is a really beautiful book, and if you have the chance to read it, The Timekeeper by Mitch Albom, I absolutely recommend it. So yeah, I mean, if you have been following all the videos that I've made on this, I have a couple videos on TikTok where I just read out some of the quotes. I didn't read out all the quotes that I bookmarked, just cuz some of them were just some of them were good quotes, but not necessarily um I guess ones that had too much meaning. Not that they didn't have meaning, but just like not so much the meaning that I wanted to share. But it's very good. It's a very good book. For a fictional book, it I love how much philosophy was in it. And yeah. Um so yeah, I just hope it resonated with you guys. And if you want to work with me one on one, if you want to, I don't know, look at how you've been spending your time and see how you can make the most of it. If you want somebody to reflect that to you, hit your girl up, link in the description. And if not, again, I hope it resonated, and I want to thank you so much for being here with me. So yeah, for spending your time here with me. So that being said, till next time.